Hello, and welcome back to the Toy Office. I'm your host, John, and this week we're going to be reviewing something you can actually buy in stores today, as opposed to last week's episode where, good luck finding it. So, this guy is War for Cybertron Siege Sideswipe. He is a deluxe class figure from the latest line of Transformers figures. Well, that's not entirely true considering the fact that Earthrise is currently being released. But he is probably my favorite figure from the entire line, Soundwave notwithstanding. Before I go into him, though, I just want to talk about the size classes for Transformers Siege really quick. And for that, the War for Cybertron in general. This guy here is what's known as a Deluxe. He also has other Deluxes known as Weaponizers, such as 6-Gun here, and Cog here, which they basically form different weapons that can be clipped onto him in any way, shape, or form. Additionally, the Wave also has what are known as Battle Masters. This is Pteraxodon. Additionally, there are other Battle Masters, such as this one, Blowpipe, and they kind of compose the smaller size scale. They're able to turn into weapons. Additionally, there is the Micromaster scale, which includes things such as Ravage here, the Sky Shadow team? Yeah, Airstrike Force. Stormcloud and Viziper, they form a sword. Additionally, there's other Minicons, Micromasters rather, that exist in the line. I got a few on my desk here from the 14 pack. I'll talk about these guys in another video. I'll probably do a whole video just on Micromasters because they're pretty cool and they're something I really enjoy. Additionally, there are Voyager scale figures. I only have one, and that's this Soundwave here. And I love that guy. And there are Leader class figures. Additionally, there is one Titan scale in the form of Omega Supreme. But I've pretty much used up my allowance for Titan scale Transformers forever. So that's the largest size I'm going to get. And I particularly got this guy because I didn't have a good chunky Ultra Magnus in my collection. A few common points to note in this line. Weapons are interchangeable between any of the characters that you can see here. And additionally, these Battle Masters can be used as weapons on any of these characters. Also, once again, these guys break apart, and the Battle Masters come with these effect parts, which can be used in various points on the various Transformers. Now, all these other guys, we're going to take them out of the picture. I'll come back to them at some point. They're definitely worth their own videos, and they're worth talking about. Everyone I just showed you, I personally think is a worthwhile buy. The Action Masters, the Micromasters and Battle Masters notwithstanding, because really that's more of a preference thing. But all the larger figures I definitely think are must-buys. And particularly this little Ravage here if you buy the Soundwave. So let me just finish clearing this off. All right, Ultra Magnus, let's move. And let's bring back in the rotation tool. Okay, so Sideswipe, for those of you who don't know, originates in the G1 continuity. That's the Generation 1 continuity from the cartoons in the 80s. He's one of the main characters, I guess. He also makes appearances in the IDW comics and is featured prominently. I like his character in the IDW comics, but I like Sunstreaker more, and that's his brother. I mean, all that. But this guy is a really phenomenal representation of G1 Sideswipe, although a little different. His alt mode is a Lamborghini-inspired alt mode. Although I started the video with him in robot mode because I thought it might be a little more dynamic and it's got more stuff that's interesting to talk about. So we'll lead with the interesting stuff and we'll finish with the alt mode. Few things to note. He's got a few paint apps and a tampograph. The Autobot shield on his chest is a tampograph. He has some silver detailing where the headlights go for his vehicle mode. His face has silver paint. And I'm just going to move the arm and take this guy off. His face has some silver paint with, and I don't know if it's going to come up, blue accents in the eyes. It looks really good in person. I don't know how good it's going to translate in the camera because I'm just not sure, and I'm new to this whole thing. There's some silver paint apps on the waist to kind of give you the illusion of a torso. There is some. It's like wear paint apps. They dry brush a bunch of silver onto this guy. Not a huge fan of this, but mine is for the most part pretty tame. To the point where I like almost don't notice it sometimes. Additionally, he's got some more, that scuff up stuff on his what's the word? His legs, yeah. And he has silver paint on his feet, which also has a little bit of the weathering going on as well. Wheels have silver paint on them, look really nice. Both of them have it. We'll get back into that on the vehicle mode. And there's some black detailing just to kind of break up the monotony of the red. In terms of the tooling, this guy is phenomenal. He's got some really good grates on his chest. He's got some really good panel lining going on, some panel lining on the legs to kind of break up the monotony of this pale whitish plastic. The lower legs are just beautiful. You got some knee action going on here, some panel lining over here, a little bit of details just to kind of bring out the action figure a little bit and make him kind of feel more realistic in a way. Legs have decent articulation, but we'll get to that in a second. Additionally, he's got some good detailing on his shoulders where they're kind of not just squares, which is kind of cool. And hands are okay, and a little bit of that detailing on the arms to kind of break up that beige plastic when appropriate. Don't know if that picked up. In terms of articulation, this guy has everything you could possibly want. He's got a swivel for his arms with a kind of hinge to allow you to get some good poses in there, with another swivel at the bicep and a hinge at the elbow. The hand can do this, although it's not really good for anything outside of the transformation. Head's on a ball joint, which I enjoy. A little bit of articulation in the waist, which is partially because of the transformation, but it's nice because you can get some kind of dynamic poses going on now with that. With next to no effort. This guy kind of poses himself. I adore him. The legs have a similar joint to the arms, although it's a little bit more impressive. There's a mushroom peg here that facilitates a swivel. What's this called? It's kind of like a hinge joint, and then there's another swivel here. The knee only bends. There's no swivel motion or anything like that. And his feet have a bit of an ankle tilt as well as a small amount of motion, but that's mostly for the transformation. I really wouldn't recommend moving it up and down too much. Overall, really fun, really posable, fits well in basically any situation I put him in, which I adore. He comes with a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher type thing, which can peg into these little slots up here, like so. And you can kind of set him up with his shoulder rocket that he has in the original G1 cartoon. A few things to note. On my version of this guy, the waist bit here popped off, and I had to glue it back into place. Not a huge deal, but it kept popping off with enough frequency that it warranted to be glued into place. Additionally, this gun has the ability to be deconstructed into a cannon as well as a individual gun. And this is all compatible with the 5mm system that Siege uses. Additionally, he's got some hard points on his body for the Siege effects parts. This is from Pteraxodon. And basically kind of can emulate, him taking damage or getting hit by weaponry or something along those lines. I believe his shoulder also has one. Let's see if it can... Last time I tried this, it didn't work. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of set him up with some hard points for that. He doesn't really have as many as some other bots, but it's enough that it's enjoyable. Additionally, he has the ability to hold any Battle Masters or Micromasters that exist in the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege line. So, for example, here's, I think, Tyraxodon, if my memory is correct. And he can hold that fairly well. I'm a pretty big fan of that. Yeah, Tyraxodon's probably my favorite of the Battle Masters right now. Just sheerly because I love this paint detailing here, and the fact that he turns into an axe. It's kind of fun. Just to show, additionally, this is the Airstrike Team Minicons. He has the ability to hold that sword as well, with little to no problems, which, hey, that's pretty fun. Let me adjust the lighting a little bit. Additionally, he has full compatibility with the Weapon Masters. I think that's what they're called. In this case, we'll pull over 6-gun here, and just kind of to give you an idea of his compatibility, he's got 5mm ports here and here, a 5mm port on his back for a backpack action. Same on the other side. His legs have one port on either side, and his feet have a single port that allows you to kind of set up some play patterns using the various bits and pieces. So let's just take 6-gun here real quick. He's a little bit too tall to show up on the camera. Let me just kind of give you an idea. There we go. But yeah, so overall, pretty fun, very playable toy. Works really well in the gimmick of Siege, and works extremely well, like a really good candidate for the weaponizers, in my opinion. Like, this is just me literally fiddling around with him on camera. I've made some more interesting designs with him. I've given him a giant fighting hand, all sorts of fun stuff. But recently, I've been kind of displaying him just as Sideswipe because, quite frankly, I like just Sideswipe. So, without further ado, let's get to the main gimmick of this guy. Let us transform him. So, first things first, let's move the blaster pistol out of the way. Give me a little bit more light. Okay, so when you transform this guy, there's a few things to know. First of all, you're going to want to pull this bit up first, right? Pop down his waist so it kind of clicks into place, hiding his face very nicely, which for a car transformer, very good deal. We're going to pop the hands into the wrists, pull the arms out, and spread out his little chest backer bits. We're then going to fold these inwards, like so, and put a bend into the arms. So then we're going to clip those into place, and there we go. So most of his car mode is already done. The next step is we're going to want to transform the bottom half. So I pull away these little tabs on the feet, and it's going to be kind of tricky. I don't want to have this lost in shadow. So what that does is it opens up and reveals a kind of cavity that you can tuck these feet into, which if you look here, they've got a bit of a hinge joint that lets them snap into place. They hold pretty good. It's a really well-constructed robot. So we're going to snap those bits back into place. Not yet, because first we need to... First, we need to spin it. And then we're going to fold these up, like so. I'm going to clip these bits together, because that's how I like to do it. And then pop those bad boys on. And then the last step is to kind of pull down these, like, weird quasi-gull wing doors. And there we go. So, very sleek vehicle mode. Almost no robot mode kibble. And not only that, but the panel lines on this guy are almost indistinguishable from normal lines, right? So he's got one here, and one here. Everything else is pretty much solid or looks like it's a part of the design of the vehicle. I'm a very big fan of this vehicle mode. Not only that, but it also rolls really well, which for a Transformer vehicle, that's always a plus in my book, because more often than not, these guys don't roll properly. Additionally, as I kind of hinted at during the transformation, this guy's bottom is sleek. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't really have much else to say other than, man, that's a fine looking bottom. He's got all the same detailing that he does in robot mode. This little grate here. He's got these two little vents going on that have some, I think that's silverish. It's like a gloss black paint application there. Let's see if I can kind of show you that. All right, there we go. He also has some ridges here in the design of the vehicle mode that kind of facilitate making him look more like a Lambo. Additionally, he's got some black paint applications here that kind of give off the impression of a door or something along those lines, and just, it's a very beautiful design, in my opinion. Paint on the wheels, as I said before. Additionally, he's kind of got these little, I don't know, like air vent type deals, probably there to reduce plastic costs, but, whatever. Additionally, he has these little rear view, he has his blinkers effectively, which is really cool. I'm never not impressed by this little detailing, and not only that, but this part, which moves for the knees, it like lines up really well. And yeah, there is a bit of a panel line, but surprisingly it doesn't take me out of it that much. But yeah, so from my perspective, I think that if this speaks to you at all, if you like robots in disguise, if you like Transformers in general, I recommend getting this guy and picking him up when you can. He's about $20 on Hasbro Toy Shop right now. If you're lucky, you might be able to find him in a brick and mortar, although Siege is kind of going the wayside now, and Earthrise is going to start coming in. But if you can get your hands on this guy, totally recommend it. And not only that, but if you see, a 6-gun or a cog or, even a Brunt, I can't emphasize enough how much these guys add to the play value of this guy. Not only that, but Battle Masters and, various Micromasters, they're just going to make this guy all the more fun for you. Like I said before, I don't really like doing number reviews, but I'm going to give this guy a thumbs up, and I'm going to say, definitely buy him if you get a chance. And if you buy one, leave one for the next collector to, kind of steal Toy Galaxy's whole shtick. But I actually agree with that quite a bit. So, if you enjoyed this, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you click that bell if you subscribe, because apparently that's a thing I have to say now. And also, if you like listening to my voice, I do a podcast with my best friend, Brandon, and we talk about cryptids every week. It's called Cryptopedia. I'll have a link in the show notes or episode description. Man, I just recorded Cryptopedia, so in case you can't tell, I'm kind of on that energy right now. Anywho, I just want to let you know, it's okay to bring a toy to work. Bye!